I want to thank, while I'm at it, giving you all kinds of little bits of information. A broadcast is not possible, obviously, without the help and aid of many, many people. The athletic director is involved, and we appreciate their cooperation greatly. Bruce McCutcheon from Matawan High School, Frank Matullo from Watchung Hills, and Phil Braun, the athletic director here at Middletown Township High School. We thank them very much, the coaches, Bob Bailey and his staff, and Barry Rizzo at Matawan and his staff for their cooperation. We went out during the week to watch each team practice, and we enjoyed our visits to those schools. The referee's doing a good job. There hasn't been all that many penalties. There have been a couple of key penalties, however, that did stop a couple of drives, or deter a couple of drives, I should say. They're doing a good job, as they always do.
Might just mention again, Dick, the first half was a fine example of the power and running capabilities of the single wing offense. Good strong running, good strong blocking. If you're able to notice, as I said, just about every hole is opened by a double team on one side of the hole, a trap block or a lead blocker on the other side of the hole. That makes it awful hard to stop the run, and that's why the single wing's so strong. You've got basically a running guard in the form of the quarterback. It gives you an extra blocker, and that's why they run so effectively.
Matawan High School coming out on the field for a second half play. One other message I'd like to pass on to you. Anybody out there planning to enter college doesn't have to be told that getting into the one of your choice isn't easy. Yet, if you know what's happening on the college scene, it will help. A Jersey Vision special is coming up. College Hotline. The ABCs of college planning provides free telephone call-in service to answer your questions.
Second half should be a good, interesting game, Dick. Although Matawan is ahead by 14 points, Watchung Hills has yet to score. They have by far certainly not given up. They played good, strong, aggressive ball in the first half. They had a couple of bad breaks, snake bit as we call it, a couple of times. But as I said, I think just indicative to me that fumble just before the half. Watchung Hills is alert, they're aggressive, they still want that ball. I would think they're going to come out here rather strong and raring to go.
To kick off, which I couldn't believe at the outset. I thought maybe I misread the official's indication, but I guess Matawan will get the ball to start the third quarter. And Matawan's third quarter drive, Bob, the last couple of weeks has been something to behold. Both weeks against Southern and Howell, two pretty good ball clubs. They've taken the second half kickoff and marched down the field with it.
The start of the third quarter is very important, and if that is true, that they won the toss but declined to take the ball, I just can't see giving Matawan the ball. They're liable to keep the ball for 7 or 8 minutes.
That's exactly what they did to start the ball game. Matawan leading now by a score of 14-0 as we start the third quarter, and Matawan will get the ball. First time they got it, they assumed almost 9 minutes of the first quarter, about 8.5 minutes in their initial drive, which started actually with a penalty at their own 23 and went all the way for the touchdown. And every play but one was on the ground. Here's Walt Connolly now to kick off. Matawan with Rick Butler, Ken Mandeville, Ed Stewart back deep. And here's the boot. High end over end. Sailing down, coming up a little short to Gary Weber at the 10. Here comes the baby ball. 15, 20, 25, 30 to the outside. 35, 40. Weber reverses field. Midfield still going. 50, 45, 40. He's in the clear. Weber at the 30. He's flying. The 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown! Speed for 6'2", 230. Takes a couple of tacklers out at midfield, broken the clear. A at the Watchung Hills 30, and unofficially, I guess, goes about 90 yards for the touchdown.
About 80 yards, Tony. He broke a couple tackles, and then he showed his speed. He made a move on the safety, and the safety fell down, and then he just turned on the speed. I tell you, he's a big man, but he's also fast.
And Matawan leads it 20-0. A sensational kickoff return. A compromise for now. We'll go at 85 yards for the touchdown. Matawan going for the 2 points. Mandeville, the tailback, looking into the end zone. Rifles into the right corner. It is a catch by Rick Butler for 2 points. And as they come back up the field with the second half only 14 seconds old, it is Matawan 22 and Watchung Hills nothing. And we'll be back in a moment.
At the half, Southern Regional 8, Sterling 6. That one again, Southern 8, Sterling 6. Now back to Tony.
At the half, again we'll repeat, Southern 8, Sterling 6, which would be a huge upset if that came about. Southern 8, Sterling 6 at the half. Here we go now. On the kickoff, Watchung Hills returns it to the 35-yard line, and this is Mike Coluccio on the first play getting stacked up at about the 36 or 37-yard line, hit hard by the center of the Matawan defense. And that was linebacker Ed Stewart, who's played another dazzling game today for the Huskies. Gain out to the, he did get 3 yards up to the 38. It'll be second down and 7. The Matawan fans around right now in sort of a carnival mood. Matawan leading 22-0 here in the third quarter. Flankers left and right. The box in an open set. Joe Ribbles, the Watchung Hills quarterback, has his work cut out for him now. He hands off inside to Bob Rotans, who bucks across left tackle to about the 40. And to stop there, it'll be 3rd and 5. Mike Mannion, the huge junior tackle, 6'1", 230, makes the stop for Matawan. Gary Weber electrifying the better than 5,000 fans here with the kickoff return, 85 to 90 yards with the opening kickoff of the second half. Gives Matawan a 22-0 lead. 3rd and 5, Watchung Hills up at their own 40-yard line. Again, flankers left and right. Rebels the quarterback, barking signals, drops back to throw. Rolling right, looking, loops it downfield. It is overthrown, intercepted by Ken Mandeville at midfield. Mandeville at the 45, 45, 30, 35, out of bounds. The flag goes down. Matawan will have the football. Ken Mandeville picked it off. We may have a clip on the return, but Matawan, I'm sure, will have the football. It is a clip against Matawan. The Huskies, however, will retain possession. Ken Mandeville with his second interception of the afternoon. The ball again overthrown, and Mandeville was right there.
Tony, that was another very poorly thrown pass. He had his man open, and he just lobbed the ball down way over his head, and Mandeville was right there back deep in the zone and just picked it off.
Well, the third quarter has certainly been a bellwether period for Matawan all season long. They are really broken up in the tight games in the third quarter. They lead at 22-0 following the penalty. They're back now at their own 44-yard line. Backs in a single way. The snap to Weber. He spins ahead to the 45 and drives up to the 48-yard line. The baby bull, Gary Weber, who may have put Watchung Hills out to pasture with that electrifying kickoff return to start the second half. Matawan now in front 22-0. And another chunk of yardage, 5 of them reeled off by Weber, who now comes out of the ballgame for a breather, and Ed Stewart comes in. Matawan out in front 22-0 here in the third period. Backs in the single wing, 2nd and 5. Matawan their own 48. Here's Stewart up the middle. He's to the 50, loops over some tacklers and drives forward to about the 48. Ed Stewart went airborne that time as he approached midfield. He shot up into the air and carries it very close to a first down. The officials are looking at it. It'll be 3rd and about a yard for Matawan at the 47-yard line. The Huskies really opening it up now, Bob.
They certainly are. They're really putting their power on. If they get another first down here, they're going to drive down and could put this game out of reach.
22-0 they lead. 3rd and 1 at the 47-yard line of Watchung Hills. Weber barreling straight ahead. He's got the first down. He slashes to the 44 to the 43-yard line of Watchung Hills. Gary Weber driving right into the center of the Watchung Hill defense. Dean Geibel and Vin DeFazio combine on the stop. But it's a first down for Matawan at the Watchung Hills 43. I'd have to go back to the very opening curtain of this ball game, the flip of the coin there when Watchung Hills for some reason elected to kick off to start the ball game. Really turned out to be a stroke of genius from Matawan. Here's a first down play. Weber going wide left. Gary to the 40. Look at him carry 2 and 3 tacklers with him as he blasts his way down near the 35-yard line. Big Gary Weber. Watchung Hills at the start of the ball game won the toss and elected to kick off, and Matawan spent almost 9 minutes of the first quarter on a touchdown drive, and then when the third quarter started, we're Watchung Hills had reversed itself. Matawan got the ball again, and Weber took the kickoff and went all the way 85 yards for the touchdown. Now Butler, the ball carrier, out of the single wing, showing speed. 35, drives down to the 34, the 33-yard line. He's close to a first down. He needed to get to about the 33, and Rick Butler, Matawan's brilliant wingback. And they're going to say just a little short, I believe. Third down, about a yard to go for Matawan at the 34-yard line of Watchung Hills. Matawan now leads it 22-0 with 8 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Out here, the Huskies out over the football now. On the snap and the single wing to Weber. Weber booming for the first down. He's got it to the 30-yard line, maybe inside the 30-yard line. Center Glenn Holmes out there leading the play along with the rest of the Matawan offensive line. Chris Marcella, Joe Galletti, Bob Copcho, and Ron Lee. They don't get their names mentioned a lot, but they're youngsters, most of them, and they're all doing a super job. Marcella, a junior, Galletti, a junior, Ron Lee, a junior. First down, Matawan at the Watchung 29-yard line. Huskies ready to go for the single wing. Mandeville will run it. There's a flag down. He's to the 25, drives down near the 20-yard line, and a flag is thrown. Matawan leading it here 22-0. And there's a violation coming up, though, against the Huskies. It'll set it back a little bit. Looks like a legal procedure against Matawan. Matawan 22 and Watchung Hills nothing. And it's a little longer than a legal procedure, apparently a personal foul. Sends it all the way back. It's offensive holding on Matawan. Back to the 39-yard line. It'll be first and 25. Ed Stewart in the ballgame now, and Gary Weber comes out. Bob, as we've been saying all year, it's something you can take Weber out at 6'2", 230 and put in Stewart, who can also really motor at 6'1", 215.
Matawan really has big backs. They really do.
First and 25, Huskies at the 39-yard line of Watchung Hills. Mandeville to throw, back to pass, looks like the screen, he floats that, intercepted by a Watchung Hills lineman who jumps in front of Stewart, and he brings it back to the Matawan 46-yard line. Bill Ard, the junior tackle. Bill Ard read the screen, he jumped in front of Ed Stewart, picked off the football, and Ard, 6'3", 193, returns it to the Matawan 46-yard line, where Watchung Hills will take over first and 10. 7:05 to go, third quarter. Matawan leading at 22-0. And here comes Watchung Hills now with Palumbo split wide to the left. Dilzell, the wingback, flank wide left. Backs are in close behind quarterback Joe Rebholz. Rebholz back to throw, looking, sets, pumps, throws high and deep. Palumbo is open. It's intercepted by Butler, who jumps in front of him at the 10, to the 15. There goes Butler on the sidelines. 25, 30, 35. Butler at the 40. Butler spinning his way ahead. A super interception. Unbelievable interception by Rick Butler. Palumbo looked like he was wide open. I don't know where Butler came from. What an interception by Butler.
Yes, they put in a new quarterback, and they just put their wide receiver. They sent him on a streak pattern, and the ball was thrown way high, but it was underthrown, and Butler was just there for the interception, hanging back deep in his zone.
That was Tom Sharkey, the new quarterback who was in the ball game. And his first pass was picked off. Matawan now from its 42-yard line. Ed Stewart cracking straight ahead is belted hard backward by the frustrated Watchung Hills defense. Stewart got it out to about the 43. That was Tom Sharkey who put that ball up. It looked like Palumbo was wide open. And Rick Butler, who has absolutely brilliant speed, just came out of his quarterback slot and just jumped in front of him and picked it off and took it away. Here's Matawan now, second down and 9 from their own 43-yard line. Matawan leading 22-0. In the single wing, here goes Butler trying to go wide left. He gets a couple of blocks. He's at midfield, 45, 40, down the sidelines and run out of bounds. Boy, if he had about 5 more yards near midfield, along the sidelines, he might have taken it all away. Rick Butler has just blinding speed, and when he gets outside, it's very tough to get him. It's a first down for Matawan down at the 40-yard line, the 39-yard line of Watchung Hills. Matawan has been in control throughout, and they lead in the ball game 22-0 and have thoroughly dominated. Here come the Huskies out over the football now. Backs again in the single wing. The snap goes to Mandeville. Mandeville slices inside. Short yardage. Kenny Mandeville, the tailback, down to about the 38 or 37-yard line. And he is pulled down by left defensive end Jim Lasecki. And also by Doug Ripley, a sophomore lineman, 6 feet 135. Now Matawan second down, call it 9 at the 37-yard line of Watchung Hills. In the single wing, the snap to Weber, the baby bull, barreling ahead inside the 35, backs his way forward to the 34, 33-yard line. Big number 77, Dean Geibel, a senior, 6'1", 188, helping out on the tackle. 5 minutes remaining now in the third quarter. Matawan leading 22-0 on a day that has become overcast and cold, but bright and sunny for Matawan as far as the Huskies are concerned. Third down now for Matawan. And about 4 at the 34-yard line of Watchung Hills. The snap goes to Butler. Quick trying to turn that corner, trying to spin outside, accelerates. He's down to the 30, diving for the first down. I believe he has it inside the 30-yard line. When he gets around that corner, he just takes off like a jet.
He got an excellent block by Weber that time. You know, Tony, number 14, Chuck Lito, I've been watching him, and he is an excellent blocker, and that's a perfect position for him in that the quarterback position, really. He's a blocking back in that single wing, and he's an excellent blocker.
Butler brought it down to the 26-yard line of Watchung Hills. Matawan knocking on the door again. 1st and 10. The snap to Weber. Here goes Gary trying left tackle, and this time he is stacked up. Look at this. 5 tacklers on him at the 25-yard line. They were looking for Gary Weber. That charge was led by middle guard Roger Barr, a senior, 5'10", 175. And Weber virtually no gain. Call it 2nd and 10 for Matawan at the 26. And of a few times you'll see Weber be held to no gain. 2nd and 10, Matawan at Watchung Hills 26. Matawan leading at 22-0. Huskies out over the football. The snap to Mandeville. Back to throw. Says, flips it high and deep. Neal makes the catch at the 3-2-1 touchdown. The third touchdown of the year on his 7th reception. A 26-yard touchdown pass from Ken Mandeville. If they don't get you with Weber, if they don't get you with Butler, if they don't get you with Dara, there's always Kurt Neal.
He made up for that fumble he made right before the half. That ball was a little bit underthrown, but he came back for it, made a super catch. He was tackled at about the 4, but he took the tackler in and made the touchdown.
So Matawan now it's at 28-0. That is the 11th touchdown pass of the year for Mandeville. The Huskies to go for 2 points. The snap to Stewart. He crashes into the end zone. 2 points. With 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter, it is now Matawan 30 and Watchung Hills nothing. And we'll be back in a moment.